this your boat ramp? Now you own the boat ramp? Boat ramp ball. What's going on, guys? Welcome to mikeybalzz Fishing. We are at beautiful Lake Griffin, a part of the Harris chain, and we did a video a little while back about Lake Kissimmee and the Kissimmee chain. We're gonna kind of do the same thing here today. I am not a stick on this lake, to say the least. But what Harris and the Harris chain and Griffin and Yale, all kind of are, it's a unique kind of chain that offers a lot of different fishing opportunities. You know, this is spring in Florida, even though in a lot of places it's the pre-spawn and it's winter, there are spawning fish, there are offshore grass fish. It has a lot of grass that goes out to like 8 foot, 9 foot. There's structure such as shell bars, brush piles. There's just all kinds, there's grass, there's shallow grass you can go fish. There are so many different ways to catch bass out here, especially during the spring. You have fish moving in, moving out, using deep water, using shallow water. But what we're gonna kind of do, oh, by the way, shout out, go check out, there's a guy named Gino Rossi, sorry dude if I pronounced the name wrong, but go check out his YouTube channel. Epic guide and stick out on this lake. I just actually met him at the boat ramp and he kind of like gave me a fishing report. The water's a little up, they sprayed a few things, but there's definitely some spawning fish and some fish moving up to spawn is what he said. But check out his YouTube channel. I watched some video last night on it. He caught like 35 pounds of bedfish, dude. Absolutely stupid. Like, go watch it. Cast to catch, like no bull, just straight up fish, dude. Absolutely raw. Go check him out. I'll put a link to it down in the description box. But we were gonna go out. I got Bog the Unicorn, which also indicates that, yes, was there a little cold front that went through? So we're gonna be dealing with a little bit of a cold front. We got cloudy skies. It's not supposed to totally rain, but it might drizzle a little bit. It's gonna be a slight breeze. It actually sets up really good for doing some structure fishing and some, you know, targeting some of that offshore grass. But we have to be open. So we're gonna go through the process of trying to get some bites. There's some giant fish swimming in these lakes. We're gonna try to figure out a couple patterns. I think there's a few big tournaments coming out, like out here in the next like few weeks. So maybe we can identify some of the things that are gonna work during those tournaments. But in the end, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna learn about fishing, and hopefully, Bog, are we gonna catch some bass? Yes, we are, Bass Bog. But as usual, I thank you guys for all your support on the videos. The channel's really growing, and it's not because we're doing anything like crazy, stupid, challengey or anything like that. It's because we're talking fishing, having a conversation. I'm learning from you, you're learning from me, and we're trying to be better at the thing that we love to do, which is catch the bass. Catch the bass. So hit that like and subscribe button. Let's go. So like I mentioned, it is spring in Florida, but spring, it's weird because literally there's a million things going on at the same time. But something I try to do when I idle up from the ramp, I just kind of take a look at the lake and just sort of see, like, there's a canal there, there's a canal there, there's a big point there on my sea map. I do have a marker. I actually caught like a 7-pounder over there. There's another set of canals. It looks like there's a big flat up there. Really, and it doesn't always work, but I'm one who always gets spun out. So I want to identify, where are some of these fish going to end up? Like, where do they want to be? And what are some of the things to get there? Like, is there a break? Is there a mouth to a canal that maybe has a little bit of current? Is there some bog licking my ear? Dude, wow, yeah. So all those things play into your fishing spot selection. Yeah. So like, I'm trying to figure out just a few things where I can get started. I am not like a pro on this lake. I don't have a bunch of experience. So even if I'm fishing some community holes and just getting a few bites to get a feel for where the fish are set up, how they're set up, and then I can reapply it to different stuff that I find, it gives me a place to start in the morning and I can have a better idea of how to move forward. The other thing that I always try to do too is I look at my graph. That's actually a bass right there. But we can see we have the bottom in like 7 feet and there's grass coming up to like 6, 5.5 or so. tells me there's a lot of grass. And then I'm also going to look at like where that grass line tapers off, like where does it end? Because fish like edges. Does it end in 8? Does it end in 12? Where does that grass die off? And then as I go around the lake, I can see, does it do the same thing all over the place, or is it just we're idling out on the south end right now? Is it just down here? Is it over there? So I'm trying to draw as much information as I can, because I don't know a lot about the lake. So I'm using my graphs, I'm using my maps, and I'm getting started. I'm not saying it's going to work 100%, but at least I have an idea of kind of how things lay out, and it gives my mind, you know, we all have a great deal of fishing experience. It gives my mind a little kind of room to work and to get started on catching them greenfish. Fish on. And I actually marked them before I saw them. And I lost him. There she is. Biggin, I think. She just came up and smacked it. Oh yeah. Oh, I hope she got the hooks good. And of course we got a net, boys. Gotcha. You guys got a nice one in a trap. It's really funny too, because I fished this probably for like 45 minutes, and I missed a couple bites, and I lost like a 3-pounder, and I started seeing on my side scan on the front, let me get her. Just a nice like 3.5, 4-pounder, dude. That's awesome. Well, we done got a good one, dude. I thought she was actually a little bigger than this, but it's a nice like 4 and change. Let's get her released, dude. Just all broad. They're really beautiful out here, these main lake fish. Go back to your place. Interesting though, so I actually I'm fishing a little grass line, and shout out to Ryan Salzman. He kind of taught me this tip. It's a little hard to see right now, but I turned my side scan on my front graph, and what you can see, it's hard when you're not moving, but that's a grass point. That's a little gap. There's a hard line of grass right there. And what I noticed is I kind of like, I don't know, cast it around. I lost like a 2.5, 3-pounder. And I noticed that happened in like, I'm a little out of breath because I'm excited. So there was like a hump of grass that came up. I got hung in the grass and popped it out, and then the water opened up and there was nothing there. So I got a reaction but it almost seems like there's these scattered grass patches, and some of them are good, some of them are bad, but you just cast around until you find one, and then you throw to it a million times. So we're gonna try to throw that trap back. That's just a 1-knocker booyah trap, 15-pound fluorocarbon, super simple, classic spring presentation, but just ripping it out of the grass, and she ate it right at the top. So let's see if we can trigger another bite. Come on, man. Dude just literally drove over where I caught that fish. I mean, like a little bit of politeness, man. Got her. Felt her eat it. Just on the pole. Oh, that's another good one. I don't know how well she got it though. She just touched it. Just another nice 4-pounder. Let me get her on that spot. Yeah, she's only got, she got one hook. She might come off. Gotcha. It's a nice 3-pounder, not 4. It's really interesting though. Wait till I gotta show you guys this. She was right where she was supposed to be. Just look how fat they are, dude. That is so cool. Watch it, Bog. Yeah. All right, let's let her go. Bog, you harassed the fish, bro. This is a perfect illustration of what I'm fishing. I showed you guys kind of on the side scan what it looked like, but it's a little difficult to kind of conceptualize. So if you look out there, this is what's happening underwater. I hope you guys can see that. There's just a little clump of hydrilla right there, and it actually comes to the surface. And all we're doing is looking for those just under the water, the little bit sneakier ones. And you can see what I'm doing. Like, I just brought my trap in. So a bunch of grass, that's hydrilla down there. I'll do this same approach with both a trap And then I got my, you know, what is this? The evergreen chatterbait, the expensive one with a Komodo. And I'll just find that grass and just try to maybe stay above it just a hair, kind of let that bait settle down in it and then pop it off. I mean, it's classic fishing. It's something we do on Guntersville. You can do it all over Florida. We do it a little more aggressively in Florida. They seem to like that big rip a lot more. I've gotten a lot more bites. But note, usually I like to do this technique on braid, like 40-pound braid. But these lakes have gotten a lot of pressure between COVID and between just more guys fishing, which is totally cool. So I got my stuff set up with fluorocarbon. I wouldn't use anything lighter than like 12-pound test, but I got like 15 on the trap so I can keep it down a little bit, and then I got 20 on the chatterbait, and it just gives me enough leverage so I can pull these fish out of the grass. But it's just one little extra thing I can do maybe to get an extra bite. Fish on, same deal with the trap. It's another like 3-pounder. So the boat can stay in place. Oh, that's a good one. Just a solid main lake fish. We're gonna get the net on these with trap fish. It's always a little spooky to snatch them if we can. Bug, why can't you be my net guy, bro? Look out, Bug. It's a nice one. Another 4.5-pounder, dude. Yeah, look out, Bug. Look out. She cranked that trap. That's the way. Stop, Bug. Come on, man. Fish it. Yeah, don't look at me like that. Like, the fish doesn't like when you do that, I don't think. She wasn't coming off, I'll tell you that much. We're gonna get this one released right away, though. Just a solid, like, 4 and change, dude. Same deal, we got 1-knocker trap. Look out, Bug. We got 1-knocker trap, a KS2 Elite 7.2. It's a little softer, medium heavy, and it gets a little spooky when you're around this thick of grass, but you don't miss those bites. Like, she just kind of sucked it in. But always check your line, because you never know when that big is gonna chow down. Let me show you guys what I'm keying in on. I don't have active target or Panoptics, and this is something like an application that you could do with those kinds of technologies. But if you look down right here, I turn on my side scan. Once again, thank you, Ryan Salzman. You see how there's a grass line that dips there? There's a hole right there. I'm gonna try to keep us as straight as we can so we can see. There's a hole in the grass right there. There's a bunch of grass, and then it gets a little sparser right there. You can see it kind of, there's a little bit less grass. There's another little hole. You can see on the 2D, it's like coming up. The bottom isn't 2.8 feet, but like the grass is so thick that that's where it comes up. So all I'm doing is I'm keying in on like those holes and troughs. I'll actually see, I'm trying to find a little bit deeper water, or I'm pushing in and finding where the grass has died off a little bit, and finding just these little clumps. Actually, this is a really good example. So open, there's a few strands, but see there's big clump right there, and then there's open space right there. That's actually a really, really good example right there. If you guys can see that, you can see it's sparser, and then it starts coming up. I'm just keying in on those sections, and I'll even mark them on my graph, and I'll kind of turn back and angle the boat and make some casts to them. They're not all good by any means, but some of them I've actually seen brim and bait in, and some of them I've caught fish out of. So it's kind of a little pattern that I can use, where I can hedge technology that I have and use it to kind of make this grass flat a little bit smaller and a little bit easier to read.
There she is.
Giants. Guys, we shifted spots, and I'm just trying to kind of, he ate it pretty good, mimic the pattern that we were on, and just focus on, I'll kind of go into it a little more detail like towards the end of the video, but trying to mimic it and just find some more stuff. We're gonna go back and fish that juicy stuff where we caught those bigger ones, but it's always good to kind of see if the things work like in other places. These lakes on this chain aren't very big, so it's kind of nice because you can really pick apart like one lake if you drop in, and I don't know, just explore to see if you actually figured something out, you know.
Watch it walk. I almost fell over bog. It's another nice 2-pounder, dude, right off the same spot we caught the dink. I'm gonna boat flip this one though, because I don't think she got it very good. Actually, that's like 2.5, 3. That's a good fish. All right. And we will throw right back there. Again, Bog, you're killing me, dude. You almost knocked me over. You gotta be more careful. Just ripping that trap, and we'll go for like 100, 200 yards, not get a bite, and then our luck shall change. And then we mark it, and then we'll come back later and catch a 7-pounder. So, how do we fish this thing? Little trap, perfect bait for spring. I'm gonna make a super long cast. I'm on a big grass flat and I'm targeting a certain depth, but I wanna cover water with it. That's the beauty of fishing a trap. So I do some slow kind of reels just to get that slack out of my line. And I'm gonna just feel for it to hit some grass. There we go. And then I'm gonna use my rod to rip that thing out and kind of let it flutter down. I'm gonna slow reel a few more times. You notice I'm kind of like pulsating my retrieve. And I'm gonna pop it again, reel down. It's pretty straightforward. I'm just feeling for some kind of like catchy grab on it. And oftentimes the bite's gonna be a tick or it's just gonna be dead weight when you reel up. Sometimes it actually feels like the grass. The other retrieve that I'm doing is I will throw it out and I will just reel. And I'll just kind of put like maybe a few quick ones in there. I'll slow reel it. And I'll do that until I really hang it on the grass. And if I have to pop it out, I'll pop it out. But you'd be surprised, slow reeling a trap, I'm stuck there, how clean it actually runs through the grass when you kind of just put a few little quick ones on it, just like that. But it's a great way to get reaction bites and a great way to cover water. And when they freaking whack it, when it's like game on, dude, it will take the rod out of your hand. They literally smash this thing, even in super cold water. It's a fun bite, dude. It's very vicious. There she is. Oh dear. Oh dear, stay down. She's got it pretty good. Dude, that fish ate it like right as the trap was dropping. That sure is a 4.5, 5-pounder. Oh, it's been a grind, boys. Let's get her released up. That's nice. Yeah, chill. It's another nice 4-pounder. We just can't seem to catch like a big. I think we missed a good one. That's awesome. Let's get her back. Let's go back to where you go. We missed a couple big bites on like a swim bait, like throwing basically a solid body and then a hollow body on a belly weight. So I switched it up to a jig head. So I'm gonna try that a little bit. But that's one presentation you can make when they're kind of swiping at the trap, or they've been swiping at my chatterbait, dude, like hardcore. I missed like 4 or 5 bites and they'll knock it and you'll reel down and kind of sweep on them and there's nothing there. It's really weird. A front went through and I'm wondering if kind of the highlight was like the morning bite. But all I'm doing is I'm taking this trap right here and it's a Booyah 1-knocker. The reason I'm using the 1-knocker, if I can get it off the floor, is it has a little bit different vibration than your standard trap. I think they see a lot of traps around here, so using something just a hair different makes a difference, you know, like, and I'm ripping it. That fish actually ate it when I paused my retrieve, so varying your retrieves and playing around with that. But we're pushing darn close to 20 pounds, and that's where you always want to be in Florida. So let's see if we can't put a few more together. Will not close the deal. Got him that time. And he come off.
Trying something a little different. I put a little hollow body on a belly weight hook, but I'm worried that that's exactly what's gonna happen every time they eat it. You bogged the unicorn? You wanna go eat cheeseburgers? That'd be delicious. Good, we gotta talk about rods. All right, let's wrap this thing up. But let's recap kind of the pattern, because one thing you should always have tied on in spring is a trap. And we've talked about it on Gunnersville. Ironically, I think, in my mouth, dude. Don't let your dog lick you in the mouth. So a trap is a powerful tool in spring. And part of it is it fishes in so many different water columns. This is a Booyah one knocker. That's what I had tied on. But let's talk about a couple things really quick. One thing that you want to do is play with different sounds. There's like a tungsten tap version. This is a one knocker. Using something that has a little different sound, everybody's going to pick up a red-eye shad. Not saying it doesn't work. I love throwing it. But trying to get a little different sound, especially on pressured lakes, is very important. The fish will respond to that, and you'll be amazed. If you go with your buddy and tie in 2 different traps, do a little experiment. Have your buddy tie on one that sounds like X, and then you tie on one that sounds like Y, and see who catches fish. It's a fun way to play, and I guarantee you they will show favoritism to one or the other. But really, what's nice with a trap is you can fish it super skinny. We're fishing in probably like 4 to 5, 3 to 5 feet of water, but I could push up a little bit and fish that joker in 2 foot of water. You know, keeping it high. Might want to implement braid to kind of float the bait up, or I could go out deeper, 6 to 8 foot, 7, 9, 12. Probably go up to a 3/4 ounce when I start hitting 10 foot, 8 foot, depending on how high the grass is. But you can fish it all over the water column, just depending on your retrieve. Today's retrieve, basically what we would do is we'd slow roll it for a minute, kind of hanging on the grass, and rip it off. And then towards the end of the day, things definitely slowed down. This morning, I made a huge mistake, and I'll be the first to admit it. I'm out here for one day. I think I'll get part of a day tomorrow, but I really want to go sight fish. So today's my only day to like go around and cast fish, you know, like try to catch them in the grass and that. And the mistake I made is when you only have one day to get out, do not leave fish biting. Like, I was going to use a naughty word, but get them, catch them, whatever phrase you want to use, catch every single thing you can. And I screwed up because I was on these fish this morning. They were chewing, things were right. I went to try to find more stuff. Literally, there was no point to that. I should have sat on these fish and juiced it out, because I know there was a 5 to 7 pounder waiting for me, but we did not find her, which frustrates me because I know they're here. And I got some bites on that swim bait. But back to the point, you know, that trap is such a nice way to cover all those water columns, and it really works in spring. The tight wobble, it's such a thin profile. You can see it has that nice tight wobble, so no matter how cold your water is, or even if it's like warming up, it's a perfect bait, and you can fish in a million different ways. That's why I love a trap. Like, there's so many things you can do with it. Ripping grass is a fun way to fish, and it works on almost any lake. You don't need grass either. Let me throw that in there. You don't need grass. You can do it off of wood. You can do it off of the bottom. Like, you can sort of worm that trap along the bottom if you got gravel, if you got rocks, and you rip it off from time to time. So you don't need grass. Ripping a trap is epic spring fishing. I don't know, it's one of my favorites. Like, and it catches, if you get your rhythm down, you can outfish the guy behind you, because there's a sort of I don't know, like a momentum or a sort of like cadence that you get, kind of like jerkbait fishing, and you start to figure out, oh, they're biting it when I rip it to the top, or they're biting it just when I pop it once, or they're biting it when I stop reeling. You know, there's all these different retrieves you can do, and playing around with those can really unlock the secret to the lake. Griffin is beautiful. I love this Harris chain. It's a very dimensional chain. You can do absolutely anything, including bringing your unicorn bulk. Nobody made fun of you today, bulk. That's pretty good. But thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you guys took something away from it. And if you have anything to add, I know a lot of you guys fish Harris chain. Drop it down in the comments box. I always like to hear your perspectives, and it starts a good conversation. I know a lot of guys read the comments and try to pick up extra tips and that. So drop it down in the comments box. I'll put links to everything that I used at Tackle Warehouse down in the description box. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, because YouTube, it doesn't like us. We are out until we're fishing tomorrow. Maybe we'll catch some bigs. Later.